Hey, jump on in. The water's fine. Oh, yeah, I tell you, up where I live, everybody is swimming every day in the 89, 95, whatever it is now, swimming pools. It is time for the Pool Fanatic Show. That's right. The Pool Fanatic is Tony Caruso, Orlando Luxury Pools, TC, water features, and let's not forget the Pool Fanatic Pool Service Company, because you can have the nicest, the greatest pool in the world, but if you don't take care of it, you got yourself some green soup.
Ooh. Who's watching the kids today, Rob?
I'll tell you what, people are looking pretty good today because, you know, that first taste of spring was really today. I don't know what was into people. They were all out running around. Nobody was in their houses today. But everywhere I went, to convenience stores and McDonald's on the way. I got a bone to pick with them. But anyway, people were keeping a very close eye or a hand on their children.
Yeah, that was good, man.
Job.
Last night, you know, my grandkids are with us this weekend, and, excuse me, and it was nice and cool out last night, but when I woke up this morning around 6 a.m., it was not as cool out. So I'm thinking, okay, what kind of day is this going to be? It's a little cloudy out. They're saying it's going to be a nice day. The grandkids were out by the pool today. Guaranteed, eyes on, hawk on, not going to dissipate from that, you know. But you got to pay attention to your loved ones. You know, we talk about complacency. One of the things you cannot become complacent about is your children.
Amen.
Or the safety features that allow your children to be safe and not allowing those safety features to be the babysitter. The reason I say that is because the safety feature is just a deterrent. It's not a babysitter. Do not ever feel, rest assured, that child's safety fence is going to stop your child from sliding a chair over, getting up on that chair, going over that fence, and then into the pool. Mm-hmm. Now, for those who wish the safety fence was on the edge of the pool, the code says it can't be within 20 inches. Well, that's kind of a case in case somebody falls over, you know, go right in the pool initially, or that you still have room to walk between the pool and the fence. That's the 20-inch rule. It's not negotiable. It can be further away. So that child safety fence is just a deterrent. It's not a babysitter. So know where your kids are. Those door and window alarms, if your batteries are dead, you should have changed those out last year when you did your smoke detectors. It's no different. Stay on top of your safety features. I know I get people complain to me all the time. I don't have kids, don't have company, but I got to have that. I said, yes, you do. I don't get to change that. But what I do get to do is I get to build the product the way it's designed to be. Once I leave your home, I don't care what you do. I've educated you on the safety features required. Mm-hmm. I can't force you to put your seatbelt on, even though your car's going to ding all the way down the road, ding, 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 because you didn't put your seatbelt on. I can't force you to do things that you're supposed to do. You got to determine what common sense tells you to do. Know where your children are. Now, I just met a gentleman, probably going to be listening to the radio today.
Good job.
He's a little bit, just a few days older than I am, but he has a nice big pool out on the west side of town. It's 10 feet deep. He doesn't swim, but she does.
Oh, good.
Okay, so we talked about the buddy system and knowing, you know, never swim alone, but she loves to swim and he don't. You know, but I always let people know that we were born to swim. That's what this nice donation that the Central Florida chapter of the Florida Swimming Pool Associations did to the YMCA in that presentation about a week and a half ago. That's 40,000 individual swim lessons the first week in April at 37 YMCAs. Yeah, so take advantage of it. It doesn't matter if you have money or not. It's free. It's 40,000 individual swim lessons, and take advantage of it. That's the things that the Central Florida chapter of the Florida Swimming Pool Association does for people in this area. We want people to be safe. We don't want to be complacent. When you walk out the door, close the door. Don't listen for it to close. I think it closed. Screen door. Make sure it closed. Make sure the safety fence latches. Make sure the yard fence closes. Don't become complacent. Even if you slam it and you heard it latch, did it actually hit the latch and bounce back off and you thought it latched? It doesn't take any more time to actually close the door.
Right.
Or close the gate. Doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't take anything more to visually inspect your child barrier fence to make sure it's right.
Now, on that gate, does the handle have to be high enough that a kid can't reach it?
All release mechanisms, whether they're thumb latch or lift-up mechanisms, have to be 54 inches above grade.
Oh, okay.
There's a reason for that. So they can't reach up and grab those. So, you know, knowing where that is, and I got a phone call this week. I had a lot of phone calls and met a lot of people that listen to this radio show. That's all they do. So a little shout out to Dan. Dan doesn't own a swimming pool, but he loves the show. So he calls me up, you know, and he says, Tony, I really enjoy your show. It's an hour's ride home from where I work. I get in the car at 5 o'clock, listen to you all the way home at 6 o'clock. So, Dan, thanks for calling me. He did have a paver question. So he doesn't have a pool, but he had a paver question. The paver question was as follows. He says, I have pavers that don't get a lot of sun and they mold and mildew. What do I do? Well, besides cleaning them, I can tell you how to not prevent it in the future, but how to clean it up a lot quicker in the future. And that would be to go in and do a heavy pressure wash on those pavers and get all that mold and mildew off. You might need to use some of the higher concentrate bleaches that you can buy at the retail stores, 6.5% to 7%, and then use that to get all that organic out. Once that dries, then come in and do a light resand in the joints if needed, and then seal it. But you can't seal it with the sealer that you buy at the retail store. That $100 or $150 for 5 gallons is junk when it comes to sealing concrete. Sure. Here's why, Rob. Not enough solids. What do solids equate to in the product itself? I always love this. The big box store has a gallon of paint on sale for $13.99. I'm going to buy 5 gallons for $80. Well, how many coats of paint do you have to put on to get that to cover? Now, the next gallon of paint is $38. And the 5 gallons of paint is $150. Well, I'm not buying the $13.99 gallon. I'm buying the $40 gallon. Why? Higher solids, less paint. Now, you'll spend more time painting that wall or painting that pan than you will by using a higher solids product. So cheaper is not better. So, yes, they do have that $13.99 gallon, but you want the $38 or $50 a gallon. It's got higher solids. Same with sealer. $350 is not a bad number to pay for 5 gallons of high UV content sealer. Why? Do you want to pay the $150 and do it every year? Or you want to pay the $350 and do it every 3 to 5 years? Which would you rather do, Rob?
Yeah, 5 years is good enough.
Let's see here. Buy it once, but only cry once.
I remember that.
You remember that?
Famous words.
Not mine. Yours.
Actually, Randy Kelly's in Missouri, but I stole it from him.
Okay, well, you know what? He's in Missouri. How's that?
That's right. He's selling boats.
He's selling boats.
But you know what boats he sells?
What's he sell?
Regal, built right here in Orlando.
Well, I know Mr. Cook.
He's very proud to sell those in the Ozarks, and he's number one.
Well, that boat's
sales.
made right here, and he lives right here, so that's kind of a cool thing. Family business, pretty much. So run by the man that puts this all together. You
know who else has a family business that's very successful and very cohesive?
I don't know. Who is it?
Tony Caruso.
Oh, Rob, come on, man.
You can call him right now at 844-220-0965, 844-220-0965. We are live and living some memories as we look up and see the cars go round and round over in Daytona.
Wow.
Because it was exactly 30 minutes ago, 5 years ago.
Was it 5 years ago?
We got known as the breaking news station in this town, and that's when that car went right into the stands, and the magic mechanic himself described how you build a race car and how that engine broke loose of that car.
Well, that was
fun, wasn't it?
I got to sit in on that show.
That was fun.
Actually, if it was 5 years ago, I was only on the air for what, 7 months, 6 months?
Yeah, you were pretty new.
Because this is going into my sixth. This is either my 6th year or going into the 7th year. I don't remember.
It was a major news story.
Yeah,
we had everything. We also have the spotter in turn 4 who actually works here too.
Nice, nice. Well, I've been a NASCAR fan for probably 35 or 40 years. And I enjoy the sport. People think it's boring, but it's not. If you think about what they do, when we live life in moments, they live life in thousands.
Yeah,
thousands. We can't blink thousands. That's what happens in there. But anyhow, what a great week this week, Rob. I've met some really cool people, and just educating people. I went to 2 jobs this week, and I was like amateurs, amateur. I went to go look at a pool for Sean from Florida Leak Locator, and it was a pool that split at the skimmer.
Ooh.
And it was renovated by a highly reputable company about 5 years ago. And I standing back, I'm about 30, 40 feet from the pool, and I'm looking and going, this pool don't look right. The coping don't look right. So as I'm going over there, start looking, I said, these guys are amateurs. They did not cut the concrete overhang off, but they put the brick paver over it. So now from the vertical bottom, the vertical tile in the pool to the outside of the coping is 2.5 inches. You have this shadow box going all the way around the pool.
Ain't good.
Well, the brick coping's supposed to sit against the tile. Now what happens is, as I looked, it breeds mold and mildew under there because it's just not, you can't service it. Ooh. You can't see it. Nasty. 2 pools this week. 2 pools. They did a decent job on everything else, but the cantilever is amateur. Mm-hmm. Cut the cantilever off. Do your customer justice and give them the product they deserve. Why would you renovate a swimming pool to make it look like you renovated a swimming pool? You got it? Right. We got to go to break.
We have to go to break already.
Really?
Yep.
407-282-4911. How about this? Visit us at TC Water Features. We're updating our website. Hopefully another week or two it's going to be updated and up and running because we're going to the home show in March. Rob, also people are liking us on Facebook increasingly daily.
Love it.
You know why? Because amazing things can happen in your backyard.
Yes, they can. Why don't you get on the phone? What's your pool look like? What's going on with it? Is there still time for you to maybe heat it? 844-220-0965, 844-220-0965, or text us 21232. We'll be back. Oh, if you love to swim, even if you love to just look at the water features and see how beautiful they are, you need to be listening to the Pool Fanatic Show, and you are at 844-220-0965. That's 844-220-0965. You can text us at 21232, or you could go on your app. That's right, that is the News 96.5 app, and just simply go down to Open Mic, press the button, and ask your question of Tony Caruso, just like Debbie in Deltona. Debbie, what's going on?
Hi, thanks for taking my question. I have a salt pool, and I had to replace my circuit board that controls the salt panel 3 times.
Okay.
And I was told by a person who came to service the pool to replace it that there is something out there that will just handle the salt itself, like a panel itself. Is that true?
Okay. Who puts the salt in the swimming pool? Do you or
I do.
You do? Tell me which end of the pool you put the salt in.
Well, I used to put it in the deep end, but once before I called you and you told me don't put it in the shallow.
Okay, and that is correct.
But I was right. So this gentleman told me that instead of having that whole circuit board where I'm constantly having to replace myself on the circuit board, there is a separate box that would control.
No, that's well. First off, I don't know what salt system you have. Do you know? Do you know the man?
Haywood.
Okay, you have
Hayward.
Aquarite. You have an Aquarite. Okay. There's a couple things here, which is a great question, and thanks for bringing it up, Debbie. So stay on the air for a second. This gentleman that I talked about saw the other day, Rob, he had the service company come out and service his system, and he said, "You got a bad circuit. You got a bad board." Well, they put a board in, and it didn't fix the problem. It wasn't the board; it was the cell. The cell was 7 or 8 years old, so it was a cell. So, Debbie, a question for you. Did they test the cell, and how old is your Aquarite?
How old is up? 8 years old, but I had replaced the cell once before because we kept on throwing salt in. Okay. It was reading low.
Okay.
And then we went to the pool place to test the water. They said, you have so much salt in this. So we bought a new cell.
And how long ago was that, Debbie? How many was that? A couple years ago? Year ago?
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
I have a question for you. Another question. How often do you pull that cell out and inspect it?
Well, I normally would try it like now every 3 months because once I called you, I got a little educated on it.
Okay.
Myself.
So here's a question for you. When you take it out and inspect it, does it look clean or does it have some white stuff grown up inside of it?
It does have like a little bit of you could see the salt in those little slabs.
Okay. Do you live in Deltona?
Yep.
Okay, Deltona. I'd like to. Is it currently down right now? Is it currently down? It's up. It's up and running.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I had my panel replaced again just recently.
Okay.
Well,
and did they offer you?
I'm sorry, the circuit board panel.
The circuit board. They changed out the GLX main is what they did. That's your main board. I'd have been curious, honestly. Did you keep the old boards, or did you let the service provider take those with him?
He took it with him.
Don't ever do that in the future.
No.
No.
Because I fought them because I said, I just had this circuit board and it's burning out too fast. So I ended up calling Hayward and said, listen, there's a lot of money to replace this.
Sure it is.
So what happened was I was almost shy of my warranty, but they did me a favor, and the guy came out and replaced it, but then he took it.
Yeah, if you replace it under warranty, he gets to keep it.
Right.
If you're paying for it, you get to keep it, which brings me to an issue I'm having now with one of my vehicles where I demanded the part because I paid for it. So here's what I would do. Look, if you stay with doing the salt in the shallow end, now you have the Aquarite. You don't have the Aquarite Pro. You set the dial in the center that goes 0 to 100. Is that correct?
We're 0 to 100.
Yeah, when you open your panel door, it says 0 to 100, and then just to the left of that, you have a little black button that says diagnostic.
Right, yep.
If you hit that up to 8 times, it's going to diagnose your system for you. It's going to tell you the first thing you're going to read is how much salt's in the water. The second one's going to be the temperature of the water. The third one's going to be your volts, then your amps. Then the next one is the minus number. No, the next one is the percentage of output. The one after that is a minus. And what I'm trying to tell you, Debbie, is the very first number you read and the minus number need to be within about 300. So, for instance, if it was reading, when you opened that door and it said 3,200, and you went down diagnostic and it read 2,900 or 3,500, that's fine. It's when it gets to be 400 or 500 below, that tells you that you have issues with either your cell is dirty or your board's going bad. But let me tell you, these boards don't go bad. They go bad for a reason. And they go bad because we add the salt over time through that drain cover. We'll burn it up. And I'm glad you listened, Debbie. That's important because that board, I'm thinking you paid $600 for that board if you bought that board.
Ooh.
Yeah. Not a pretty thing. But I'll tell you what, what an awesome question. Thanks for calling in. And believe it or not, they're holding their finger up again. Is that you give it up or we got to go to break again?
1 minute, my friend.
Oh, my gosh, man. Hey, Rob, we're looking forward to going to the Home and Garden Show. We've never done that before, but my office has done some amazing banners. And one of the things they surprised me with the other day was the WDBO banner.
Oh.
It says expert pools, expert renovation, expert service, ask the expert.
Oh, I like that.
What do you think?
I like that.
And they got this little 3-inch by 5-inch picture of my mug on there, man. So you
take a selfie in front of that.
No, it's actually a bigger picture now. But I thought it was pretty cool. Tina does some awesome stuff, man. Expert pools, expert renovation, expert service. Listen to the expert. Ask the expert. So we've got some really cool stuff to bring out. We're doing some nice loop videos. People get to see some cool stuff that we do. 407-282-4911. Visit us at TC Water Features. It's still Orlando Luxury Pools, but TC Water Features. Like us on Facebook. That is TC Water Features, where I promise you, Rob, the backyard is amazing things can happen in your backyard.
844-220-0965. Call us just like Debbie, and always put your stuff in the shallow end and brush it in. We'll be back. Hey, we're talking pools. That's right. It's the Pool Fanatic Show, and we are talking pools. Grab a line, 844-220-0965. That's 844-220-0965. 21232 is the text, 21232. Or you could use the open mic feature on the all-new News 96.5 app. Here's Tony.
Rob, you okay with that cookie?
Goodness gracious.
Are you okay?
That was a peanut butter cracker.
Oh, see,
boy,
that was
go down the right.
That was it. Wow. Again, we're having so much fun. The bureaucracy is killing me here lately. I've got 2 pools on the water in Seminole County, and they're not in the floodplain, but I have to get floodplain certificates.
Oh boy.
Not even in floodplain. So just more bureaucracy and more money. So I turn around, I get 2 Orange County permits this week, and both of them are on the water. One of them's close. One of them's 5 feet above the lake. The other one's 11 feet above the lake. Have to provide. In Orange County, now they're telling me I have to, when I actually place the shell. Now, this is an extra $300 to $400 per visit. I have to now have the floor elevation, once it's gunnited, elevated and put on a survey, take that to the county so they can send it to stormwater. Then, when it's all done, I got to have a finished deck elevation put on there, take it to the county prior to final inspection. That's an add-on to the consumer of $600 to $700 without, and that's doing it out of my pocket for free. I can't charge a customer to go run them down there. So it's just I don't quite get the floor elevation. I got the final elevation, but I don't get the one that's 11 feet above the water.
Now, how can they have, I'm just asking as a consumer, but I get a little bit tired of government overreach. How can they just pass things like this without any public sessions or any public hearings or anything? I mean, we don't have city councilmen. We elect those, but these bureaucrats never get elected. They just get hired.
Right. Well, I can tell you this, that in Seminole County, I'm going to say this on the air, Seminole County is now going to require a permit to resurface a swimming pool. Well, I'm going to say right here today, and I hope you're listening, you can start it now, but we're going to fight it. You're not going to require a permit to replaster swimming pools unless you take that to the Florida Building Commission and you get it approved. Right? It's not going to happen. They can do it now, but we're going to fight it, and here's why. Nothing in the building code requires you to pull a permit to resurface a pool, and here's their thoughts. Here's what they're telling you. Well, you can put the old cover back on. Well, no, you can't. You have to replace the frame of the main drain when you resurface the pool. You cannot buy an old unapproved drain. You can't buy one. They're not available. They've been thrown away 8 years ago. We're 2016. This happened in 2007. Go ahead and ask us to apply for it, but we're going to fight it, and you're not going to be doing permits unless you get it approved by the building commission.
We missed a couple of callers there, so callers, if you want to try again, we will grab onto you. But, yeah, there was two callers.
I saw that. So is it not flashing up? Cosmos is asking me, are we live today? So maybe he was just trying to call us. So let me I get text all the time, Rob, so I'm going to say yes, call back in. Cosmo. So he's on tour. I'm not sure where he's at now, but he's in America.
Does he have a cover over his pool, a screen room?
He has a screen enclosure,
and
yes.
You don't have a screen enclosure?
No.
And again, what is the temperature difference between a screen enclosure and a non-screen enclosure?
Let's see here, Rob. I can tell you right now.
He's figuring it out on his calculator.
Let's see. This is a bulletproof building, so I really don't get much of a signal. I would say, okay, my pool water is 69 degrees right now. He's probably 62.
Oh, okay.
So...
Wow, it does make a difference.
Yeah, so if that's Cosmo calling, we could probably ask him to go on his Hayward app and figure out what his water temperature is. So...
From wherever he is.
Well, from wherever he is, he can tell us what his water is.
Phone,
in his pool right here in Central Florida, that's for sure.
That's
cool. Rob, we got a lot of new pools going right now. We've got a lot of renovations. So think about, listeners, if you're wanting to get this project done, I just read an email a minute ago, another contract we're going to sign next week. They want to be done by May. No problem. It's the ones that want to be done by April. We've only got, what's it, the 20th or 21st of the month? What's that say?
Yeah,
it's
right
the 20th
there.
of the month. It's a short month.
Mm-hmm.
Leap year?
Yeah.
Do we jump into next month 3 days early?
29 days this month.
Yeah. So check this out. Daylight savings times is March 13th.
God, that's too early.
I'm done with it. Come on.
Ugh.
I quit farming in 1971. I quit farming.
You replaced the corn crop with a pool. I remember it well.
All that means is, Rob, you stay on. I saw a study this morning. It says stay within 1 hour of your normal bedtime. That way you don't mess with the melatonin in your body. You don't mess with your normal body function. So now they're going to throw us off an hour. How long does it take you to get the hour back? Can you adjust like the next day?
Boy, no way.
Takes me a couple days. So why am I going
to... Of course, I don't sleep anyway.
Yeah.
We still haven't found the
Hey, do we have
combination
someone
of that.
online there? there someone right there?
We got Cosmo on the
let's put him
line.
on.
Cosmo, where are you at? What are you doing?
Hey.
Hi, guys. I'm in St. Louis.
Hey, Cosmos. Hey, I'm going to tell you the temperature of your pool. How's that?
I can tell you because I just checked it.
No, don't tell me yet. I'm going to tell you your water temperature. It's 64 degrees.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, guess why I know. My son's looking at your app and he's over in Cocoa. You're in St. Louis. He's listening. He just says Cosmos' pool temperature 64 degrees. Isn't that a beautiful thing?
When you said it, I looked it up on mine, and I thought it was 64. It's chilly.
How you doing, man?
Doing great. Doing really good. Back at work and getting ready to do a show tonight here in St. Louis, and I'll be home in about 10 days.
How long are you home for when you come back?
Only 5. I'll go back out again, and I'll be back. I'll be back in the first week of April.
Well, you've had a pretty tough month, birthday, and going through what you've gone through, and my heart goes out to you for your loss. But I missed your birthday, man. You go out to the Aviation Museum, and you didn't invite Tony. You know what kind of conversation that would be?
Well, come on.
I got a picture.
I'm in Dallas. I'm in Dallas for the next 2 days after tonight, and there's the museum. The museum will fly in Dallas on left field.
There you go. So are you in Dallas, or are you just in the outskirts of Dallas?
Well, we're staying downtown, but I have a friend that lives up in Louisville, which is just a little suburb north, and I go up there, and there's a couple of good Mexican restaurants I go to.
There you go, man.
Well, don't leave St. Louis without going to Harry's.
Well, I went to Pappy's, which is my smokehouse bar.
Okay. So I saw that serving for one, that barbecue serving for one.
That was a serving for 4.
It didn't look like it. It looked like a serving
family
for
of 8 to me.
He goes, this is a real barbecue on his picture. I was like, oh, Cosmo, is that a single meal? And 4 ears of corn on there, plus, I don't know, 4 or 5 pounds of all this good stuff.
It can't be real unless it's from Kansas City. I object here.
Hey, well, so how you been, Cosmos? How's the shows going?
Really, really well. We've done. We were in Chicago was the last show. It's interesting on this particular tour because, as you know, we've been doing stadiums around the world for since April of last year, and we've decided because it's the weather. The Rolling Stones went to South America, so we couldn't go down there because of the summer down there. And having 2 bands play, especially with the current economics down there, we just decided to let them play. And we decided to tour the U.S. in arenas. So we had to cut down from the stadium show to an arena show. So that was a bit of a challenge. But I'll tell you what, this show fills every arena we play, and the rest of the space is filled by people. So you're let's just say it, 20,000. Is that a good number in some of these arenas? Yeah, close to 14 to 18, depending on we were close to 15,000 last gig in Chicago at the United Center. Okay, so let's just tell our listeners something. The difference between doing an outdoor stadium and an indoor arena in lighting, what do you do different? Do you prepare differently? Do you worry about, so obviously at an arena there's no elements to deal with. At an outdoor venue, you have Mother Nature to deal with. So what do you do differently? Do you do anything differently at all? Well, I mean, as far as we don't have to protect the equipment because obviously we have a roof over the stadium, the arenas. Lighting-wise, I mean, I have less the light in an arena and more the light in a stadium, of course. But what we did in this is the band really like to see the audience. So what I do is I light the audience, so they don't really notice they're in the lights. In other words, it's not blinding them, but they're lit enough that the band sees them. It's funny when I say this, but this is the truth. Playing arenas is great for AC/DC because it's more intimate. Right. And I never thought I'd be saying arenas and intimate in the same sentence, but with AC/DC that do nothing but play stadiums, they like being in an arena because the people are closer and it's more of a wall of people around them. Right. Right. So they love it. It's more personal to them. Yes. Is that kind of a good way of looking at it, more personal to them? Yeah, the fans are much closer. And the fact that I light the people so the band can see them, they love it. They can feed on that energy, not only feel it, but see it. So I got a question for you. How's your pool doing? It seems to be doing great. I was when I came home a week ago or so. I didn't dip in it all the way, but I did get in the jacuzzi, and it was perfect. And the pH is perfect, and and I keep up with it on my app, and our pool guy's taking really good care of it. And it's as you know, when it gets a little chilly, it doesn't want to make the chlorine as much, but it seems to be doing great. He hasn't really had to. Well, add anything to it. It's doing well.
Do you know why it's not going to make chlorine? It does make chlorine, but let me tell you why it doesn't need to make as much, okay? So think about this, expansion and contraction. The warmer the water, the freer the salt molecules are, okay? The colder the water, they contract. So they kind of hide a little bit because it's colder. Once your water starts getting down around 60 degrees, your system's going to shut itself off. It's not going to produce chlorine because the water's too cold to do so. So you may see very little bounce in your ORP, very little. And you'll see your demand for acid be reduced because you're not making as much chlorine. And so I guess what I'm trying to do is get an advertisement out of your Hayward Omni Logic system. You've been traveling. You've probably done, 14,000 miles since you've been gone on your little around the country tours? At
least, at the minimum, yeah.
Okay, so, you're getting them sky miles going on, but you're able to track your pool. Have you had any issues tracking your pool? As long as you've had a signal, you have no issues tracking what your pool's doing. Is that correct?
Not at all. I mean, I wake up in the morning and, I have to. My pool doesn't run the whole time, so I have to make sure that at the time zone my pool's in than what I'm in.
Right.
But I got to say, I am. You told me this all in the beginning, but I am very pleased that I go on and see the results that my pool is right where it should be, and I've had no problem.
Okay, so you may have got a few alarm notifications. One, freeze protect, because when it got cold here in early or middle of January, we had some upper 30s. Freeze protect comes on. It's going to run your pump. It's going to protect your system. You also may have got a low pH or high pH alarm. I've gotten one or two of them in the last month or so because the water's too cold, or it can't adjust the pH down quick enough because the water is too cold. So what about alarm notifications? Have you gotten any since you've been on the road?
Well, I haven't. I mean, the pool hasn't gotten below 60 degrees. Even though it's been cold out, my pool has not been below 60.
Well, that tree, the tree doesn't hurt you. The oak tree in the back doesn't hurt you because even though it's cold, you're not getting. If it was wide open, it'd be a little bit colder. Are they developing behind you right now?
Oh yeah, they still are. Yeah.
Okay,
so full with sand. It's
so you've got the Dust Bowl effect happening. So I mean, the nice thing is being able to control your pool. You're coming home. You said 10 days.
Yeah, I'll be home in 10 days.
Are you going to fire the app up halfway home, turn the spot on so it's ready when you get home?
No, it.
No, it's an honest question. Is that a nice feature that you enjoy?
Oh, I mean, it's not only an enjoyment; it's almost a necessity. When I'm coming home from the road after several weeks, the thought of coming home, especially when I get home in the evening, to get home and have my spa, at 92 or 93 degrees, which is where I like it. When I get there, it's just great because I go straight from my clothes and my swimsuit into the spa. Okay, so as a selling tool, you didn't pay for that app, by the way. It was part of the remote program. So if you didn't have that app today, you're back to manual operation. That's what you're back to. Well, exactly. I have to come home and go turn it on, and the fact that it's ready for me when I get home. I mean, the fact that, like you said, that I can check the pool from anywhere, and my wife doesn't have to worry about it. And I can alert my pool guy. The guy who takes care of my cleans and everything. He can come and fix things if I need him to, and I know immediately. And it's such an awesome thing that I never expected.
That is so much peace of mind. When you have a home and you're not there all the time, you're right home, you're on the airplane, and all of a sudden you start thinking of all the things that could have happened to that home while you were away.
Yeah.
So even though your wife is sometimes in the house and not traveling with you, she may not be paying attention to the pool or really doesn't have to, which is good for her.
Exactly.
Weather good, weather bad, weather rain, weather cold. But when you're flying in, all you got to do is look at your app and go, oh, the pool's doing fine. I know it's fine.
So
that's so cool.
So when you get home, I know you look forward to sparkling water when you get home. And that's what your salt and your pH injection system allows you to have. Is that also gives you a little peace of mind when you go home to knowing that my water's where it needs to be? Because one, I can read it on my phone, and two, when I look at it, I know how good it looks.
Sparkling water or Bud Light when you get home?
I don't know. I'm thinking
red wine.
I was going to say, okay. I was going to say sparkling red wine just to give him a nice little plug. But I think we got to go to a break, Cosmo. You want to stay through the break, or you want to stay through the break?
I can stay, no worries.
All right. We're going to go to break there now. 407-282-4911. Visit us at TC Water Features. Like us on Facebook. That's TC Water Features, where amazing things can happen in your backyard. And I guess we'll be right back.
And there are amazing things are happening in Cosmo's backyard. 844-220-0965. And on stage, 844-220-0965. We'll be back. We got Chris pressing all the right buttons at all the right time right here as we have the Pool Fanatic Show featuring Tony Caruso, and that's Orlando Luxury Pools. TC Water Features is what I like. TC Water Features, but you know what I like even more? The Pool Fanatic Pool Service Company. We got our special guest on. We love this guy. He's really a great customer of Tony's, but he's more than that. He is a great, great guy and an ambassador from Central Florida to the entire world. Cosmo, he's everywhere.
Now, Cosmo, you're going to Baltimore or are you going to D.C.?
We're going to D.C. later. From here, we go to Dallas, then Houston, and Rob, you're going to love this. We'll be in Kansas City in a few days.
That away.
There you go.
When
now,
you call me from Kansas City, I'll take you. I'll make sure you go to all the right places.
Now, my cousin's going to your show in D.C.
Okay.
So I mentioned that to you a while back, and it's like, man, I don't like when people ask other people to do certain things. But Cosmos extended a comment. It says, when your cousin comes to the show, have him call me, and I'll come out and meet him or greet him. And that's awesome. You don't never have to do that. Oh, yeah, don't have to do that, man. One of the things I don't like, and that's what people do, is they always think just because you know somebody, you can get them something. I said, you know what? I don't want to ask them. Why do that? And I know, Cosmo, you get asked all the time. Every day, every show, you get asked to, help people get in the show and stuff like that. But you got a job to do. And you do your job and you do it well, and it's because you get to focus on your job. So you said Dallas, Houston, Kansas City, then D.C.?
No. Then I come home, and then we start up, and we fly back to Atlanta. I think we have a show there March 8th, and then we're down in Fort Lauderdale, and then we work our way back up. I think we go to Greensboro from there. I can't remember when D.C. is, but around there. We still have D.C. to do. We're doing a show in Detroit, Columbus, Ohio, Philadelphia, New York City, and then we're done in the U.S.
So you're home March 4th, 5th, and 6th?
Yeah, what's going on?
Come hang out at the pools at the Home and Garden Show, man. Come be my celebrity guest, Rob. Rob says, Tony, you need to call your rep. We need
to finagle the show down.
We need to do the Magic Mechanic and the Pool Fanatic from the convention center. So now I got celebrity Cosmos come down.
That would be cool.
I don't want to interrupt your vacation.
Well, I do have those 50 people in Kansas City. I promised we'd get to see the show. I don't know. Maybe I misspoke.
But see, I have free tickets, Rob. They gave me free tickets, and I don't mind giving those away. But yeah, I'd be honored if Cosmo came down. But I understand you only get a couple days here, man. You've got so much to do while you're here. And, boy, this hour's gone. We got 25 seconds left. So, Cosmos, I look forward to when you get home. Please call. I enjoy your post. You're truly a great friend, and I'm blessed to know you. Have an amazing rest of your weekend.